With the 12, standstill or caution in the personality sun or the conscious core essence, what we have here is either the right angle cross of Eden, juxtaposition of articulation, or left angle cross of education. So when we looked at the right angle cross of Eden in the very first variation, we had crisis. And this is where we were thrown out of Eden. We had to go out into the world. We had to go out and deal with it, and mostly dealing with it sexually, so that we could get a sense of fun and get a sense of feel for what was out there. In the second variation that we're going to talk about here with the sun in the 12th gate, this is the gate of articulation. And when we have this cross with the 12 in the sun, it's a very important polarity here with the 11 and the 12, the relationship between our capacity to articulate and the opening of the mind. So the mutation that opened the mind took place in the 11th gate, and the mutation that opened up our capacity to articulate was when our larynx dropped 12,000 years ago. So now that we are coming off of the gate, the 45, where it was all about materialism, here, what the 12 says is, that's great. We need materialism. We need to have all of this stuff, all this materialism as humans to build up society. But now we need to have art. Civilization isn't anything without art. So this is where art begins, and it actually begins with sound. So this is the beginning of the acoustic. And probably this is where we get chanting and mantras and that kind of stuff, from that articulation to be able to have that oscillation of the voice that can lead to mutation. We can hear a song, and all of a sudden that song can take us into places through our mind. It really is that mutative music, mutative art that comes out here. So we move from that material possession of the 45, and this balance comes from the 12 that says, that's really nice, but we also need to have art. One of the things about creativity is that it is a way of trying to recapture what's been lost, of finding paradise again. It is a way of finding whatever one cannot have materially. So when we look at the right angle cross of Eden, because the sun is in the 12th, we get art. So I can see these people collecting wealth through their artistic abilities and having a flavor of crisis and conflict built right into that art. One of the things that's so interesting is it's usually our deep melancholic spaces in our world that really enhance and bring out those mutative moments. So in that crisis or in that conflict where we can bring out and be that teacher and that artistic teacher and that artistic articulator of mutation. Then when we get to juxtaposition cross of articulation, these really are the great lecturers. They're going to lecture us. They are going to, it's not about quote unquote teaching. They are really lecturing the population. With this gift of articulation on this cross, these people have very, very special kinds of voices as well. A voice that has a special quality, and the quality of that voice is a mutative potential. So the articulation of this cross is being carried with a very particular kind of energy. Then when we look at the left angle cross of education, we're coming out of this rulership, but that rulership actually knew and needs to know that in order for the tribe to really succeed or be successful or have support or be supported, they need to be educated. So education through the 12th gate is lecturing, which is a very different part of being that teacher in the 11, which we will talk about. So there's always two variations of a left angle cross. And when we get to the second variation, we're going to talk about that 11th gate, that education that's in a different way. Here, this educator, these people talk to you, not sharing with you. They are lecturing you, singing you a song, or whatever the case may be. So what the 12 is looking for, it's actually looking for grace. It's looking for somebody to listen to it. It's looking for someone to take its mutation, because the 22 of grace is on the other end of this. So what this cross is all about is that with education, your chances of being able to participate in a growing and evolving society are greater. You're going to be more secure and you're going to have better rewards. So when we take a look at each one of these steps, this is all about mutative voice, educative voice, a voice that lectures, a voice that is creative, a voice that has tonal structure to it. And these are the beings that are teaching and articulating mutation in our world. So have fun with that. And we will pop into this in our coaching call.